Hey everybody, and welcome back to Blender. In this video we're going to look at how to modify objects. Before I get started, a huge thank you to everyone for subscribing and hitting that notification icon. That really helps me out. And of course an even bigger thank you to my members and patrons. Your names will be running across the bottom of the screen at the end of the video. If you're interested in supporting the channel, feel free to visit the Patreon in the description below, or simply join the channel by hitting the join button next to the subscribe button. So let's jump into this then. One of the most interesting ways that we can modify our objects is by using what is known as a modifier. If we were to have an object in our scene, as you can see I've got a torus here selected, but you can really do it with anything. If you look on the right hand side in the properties pane, you can see that there is a little wrench icon in one of the tabs. If we select that, you can see that there is an option to add a modifier. If we open up this menu, we can see all of the modifiers that we can add to our objects. There are more advanced options here on the left which allow you to actually make some quite major changes to your meshes. Then you can generate different modifiers to the actual geometry. Then you have what is known as physics on the right hand side, so you can apply different physics to your items such as cloth and fluid. And then you can actually add deforms to our object. What we can do here is we can actually add a subdivision surface like so. And what you can see is that actually subdivides all of the surface in the object. If I wanted to, I could now go up to the object option at the top, and I could change the shading to shade smooth, and what you can see is that that actually makes the object look a lot smoother and much more like a torus. If I wanted to, I could increase the number of subdivisions included in there, and you can see that when I did that, the object became even smoother. We just basically increased the resolution of the object. The drawback of doing this method, of course, is that if we were to go to wireframe mode, you can now see that there's actually quite a lot of wire going on there, and if we're not careful we could end up overtaxing our system, and of course that's not what we want at all. Of course you could do this same thing with perhaps a NURB surface, but what you find is that the NURB surfaces are more taxing on the system again. Whereas in a 3D object such as this, when we go into edit mode, you can see that you have a lot more control over the actual geometry of the object. Another nifty trick that we can do is if I were to add another object in this thing, so I'm just going to add a quick cube here, like so, and then using my move tool, I'm just going to drag this that way like so. Then I'm going to select this object like this. And in the modifiers I'm going to add another one, and this one is going to be called shrink wrap, which is, let's try and look for where that is. Just there. And then the next thing you have to do is select a target like so, and then select the cube. And as you can see, what's happened is the torus has kind of stuck to the surface of our cube. Which you might be thinking, well, what's the point in that? But we've still got our torus selected, so we can just drag this up and over. As you can see, we've actually now got it draped around our cube, and this is really quite a useful little trick to do if you want to maybe create clothing or something like that. You can actually get an object to shrink wrap around another object, which is pretty funky. So the last thing that I want to mention just here is the actual modifier stack. If you'll notice, each modifier that we've applied to our object has these dots associated with them. And what this allows us to do is actually reorder our stack. And as you can see, when we do that, it changes the way that our object appears, which is really very handy. The modifiers are applied from top to bottom in that order. So that's something that's definitely worth remembering when you're messing around with this. And that's all we're going to talk about in this episode. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found that useful. By all means, let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next episode. But until then, you take damn good care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.